Pokemon Go has the appeal of a mobile game where you collect. You collect Pokemon and you collect items, and they all have pretty sound effects and make pretty sound effects to make you feel good about walking. Oh yeah. You may have thought if you're looking forward to the next core game that you could just write this one off. Unfortunately, I don't think that's happening, but Pokemon Let's Go didn't do everything wrong, and I want to talk about what it did right. This game was to help transition Go players into the core series, so the idea of the transition continuing into the next core game is pretty believable. So that's why I want to talk about the positives and the good things Pokemon Let's Go did, and then slowly transition into the things that should be improved upon or even added, or taken out. So for example, cutscenes. Cutscenes added a lot, and I think they really should return, albeit they did slow the pacing down a little bit. Overworld Pokemon are really cool. It adds this parallel that is between static and controlled trainers, where Pokemon are wild and can move unpredictably. Sure, like maybe that was, how it was before, but you couldn't visually see it. So the visualization of it is a little more impactful. More variety in backgrounds. This may just be a Kanto thing, but looking at all the Twitch streams and the thumbnails of them as the people were playing this game, everyone's playing in the same green background, because that's where most of the fights and areas in the game are. Then there is the big drastic change, the separation between capturing and trainer battles. Before, they used to have the same UI, sound effects, visuals. Now, they are separated components of the game, and this separation now lets them add depth and polish to each mechanic separately. The window is now open to do more things with capturing Pokemon that they couldn't do before. Likewise, the window for expanding on trainer battles is now present, and generally this creates a more interesting gameplay loop where you capture Pokemon and progress your party so that you may fight more trainer battles, and you fight more trainer battles so that you can progress and catch more Pokemon. On principle, it reminds me of the Persona games. The visual novel assets of Persona are to capturing as dungeon crawling is to fighting trainers. I think this system also makes 1v1 Pokemon fights like with Snorlax more impactful. It also makes capturing Pokemon a little more of a personal connection. There's no middleman Pokemon now. It is just you and the Pokemon you are capturing right in the middle of the screen, taking up most of the economy of it. Although, we have to address that personal connection is tarnished by how much and how often you're catching. Like the capturing itself, that can be personal, but that is like your 50th Growlithe that you've caught in the last 10 minutes, which is another thing. It's not really as rewarding to catch Pokemon. Instead of using items and weakening the Pokemon carefully, maybe adding status debuffs, you're relying on RNG and pretty shoddy motion controls. Also, with how it's currently designed, you get less XP for taking longer. So if you try to take your time with a capture, the game is going to punish you. And thus the game can punish you for RNG not being in your favor or having trouble with the motion controls. And this is why I don't think the new capturing system will remain entirely. The gameplay loop, though it is more dynamic, is not as rewarding as the mainline core games. It is still at its core based on mechanics intended for a casual and mobile game, and not a core title. Like I said before, you catch Pokemon to build a team, get XP, get candies, improve your team, and win fights. You do trainer battles for a skill check, access to new areas of new Pokemon, earn money to buy Pokeballs to catch more Pokemon. In its current state as it is in Let's Go, I think it is too weak of a game loop to uphold to the normal game loop of the mainline games. Even if that one is more static and Let's Go's is more dynamic, it's not as rewarding because it relies on things that appeal to casual and mobile games. Like I said with Persona, and in a sense, the visual novel aspects of Persona are more about building your stats individually than having numbers rapidly go up. Also, I mentioned cutscenes were slowing the pace of the game too. I think this gameplay loop in general is also much slower paced. One more thing is, this game should have autosaving. I cannot believe Pokemon still doesn't have autosaving. It takes this long to save, just put it between the loading screens. Anyway, so that's my takeaway from the Let's Go games. Let me know what you think below, and thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.